What's up, what's up? It's your boy JC. I'm here in Thailand, here in Bangkok. I'm here in the Bang Sue province. I am far removed from the parties, from the nightlife, from the bar girls, the working girls, the lady boys, the massage parlors, all of that good stuff that a lot of people come here for. It's very quiet. It's very quiet. I've been here a little more than 24 hours. It was a 20-hour flight, but you lump in the 14 hours forward for the time difference, and it felt like a 36 to 40-hour flight, at least a journey. So, since I've been here, I was here less than a couple of hours. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I went, took a walk, explored my area a little bit, just on the main road near the freeway. Thanks to King Epic, found an all-night 7-Eleven, and sure enough, they had all different kinds of ready-to-go munchies, and microwave rice and pork, and chicken, and bananas, other stuff. So I was able to get a little bite because I don't care how much you pay for your plane ticket. Airplane food is airplane food. You feel me? So I slept for a while. I got up yesterday morning, my first morning here. Got myself together, unpacked, because I'm going to be in this apartment for a while. And I headed off because I needed a power adapter. I forgot to go by and get one before I left the States. There's another item I had been foretold to provide for myself and bring with me. Those prophylactic devices. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's a condom. But I did find condoms at a chain of drugstores, and not like I have the need to put them to use yet. But you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. Homie might get lucky and meet a nice girl. So I went, got on the train. It's just a short walk, and had to make a transfer. Went to a couple of malls. One was kind of small and compact, definitely where the locals go, not where you go to get your Gucci, where you go to, just get your stuff at a reasonable price, And then I went to a nicer mall. Again, it wasn't, if you wanted high-end watches and high-end anything you wanted, if they had it there. Well, I believe that was the Central Mall. But I've traveled all over. I have ridden the subway and the trains in many, many cities, and I will tell you, the train here is quiet. It was full, and it was quiet. I could barely hear people breathing. You could have heard a pin drop, and a lot of people are definitely into their devices. They're staring at their phones and things. But for those people that weren't, people my age, people older, quiet. I did not have my camera with me because I did not have my power adapter for the wall, and so all of my principal equipment was, you guessed it, dead. So, but I will be, I will be taking some video of that and showing it off later. But yeah, that was the thing I noticed. Quiet. It was so quiet. The other thing, people wait in a queue to get on the train. There are lines painted on the ground to the sides of the doors. There's markings that most places have this, where they pull up. The doors are always in these same spots. And traditionally, the doors open, people go flooding out, and then people just flood themselves in. I got to tell you, orderly. Things were so orderly. The train pulls up, the doors open, people get out, and the people waiting in line, the people in queue, did not move. They did not budge. Apparently, this particular station was the end of the line. And so they waited. They waited for the conductor to get to the other end of the train, and they waited for the instruction to be provided to board the train. Orderly and quiet. You know, pretty much the only people making any noise are those wonderful youths, you know, school-aged high school kids and whatnot, and even they were very quiet. They were not trying to put all of their business out there. Sharp contrast to a ride on BART, to a ride on NYC, you know, yeah. So yeah, that was something. I'm going to keep riding the train. I'm going to make great use of the train. It is super nice. It is super clean. I speak no Thai. I read no Thai at the moment. And I will have basic Thai down on, you know, some basic pleasantries by the end of my first 5 or 6 days here, I'm sure. But people were very nice, very respectful, very helpful, very kind, just super kind. Fortunately for me, I'm not, I'm very kind as well, and so they're receptive to that, and just super helpful, very kind. Could not have negotiated the place without their assistance. Even my, you know, utter lack of Thai was not a huge barrier. They didn't speak English either, but that didn't matter. They, the people that I encountered, you know, who work for the train, aware of their surroundings, aware of the people. For instance, when I got to my first destination where I was exiting the system, I took my little plastic coin that you use, and when you get to your end, you deposit it, because that's the end, and then it opens up and lets you out. Until you get to the end, you scan it to get into the system. And they preload it with the amount, you know, for your destination. So I got there and dropped my coin in, and lo and behold, it did not open. And an older gentleman who was monitoring, you know, the gates entering and leaving the system, looked at me and waved me over very calmly and politely, and he looked into the control booth where the cashiers were, and they had a short little exchange, and then he opened a gate and waved me through. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Just fantastic. So, yeah, upon my return here, there's a large supermarket. It's called Big C. They have everything in there. They have stuff I've never seen, and they have, you can buy your milk and a bicycle at the same place. It's like a Walmart, but it's not a Walmart. Which brings me to another point I wanted to talk about. Scale. The scale of things. Bangkok is a very compressed place, and it is becoming more and more compressed. Like a lot of cities, it sprawled, and you know, it only went so high. They were starting to go very high, and so their density, the human density, is on the rise, which is great. But because typically Thai people are smaller, everything else is smaller than what I'm typically used to. I'm used to trains and subway cars built for someone who is 6'6" to feel like they have plenty of headroom. People who are 6'6" can generally clear a doorway. Aisles in your local Walmart, Target, name another big box store, Costco, whatever, they're huge, they're wide. The ceilings go up very high. Everything is huge. Restaurants huge, everything's huge. Here, things are much smaller. I'm not saying uncomfortably small, I'm saying smaller to accommodate the smaller stature of their society, smaller to accommodate the necessity to pack more into less space than what we as Westerners are typically used to. It's not uncomfortable. I don't find it uncomfortable at all. I find it fascinating, and in some ways I like it. I think it's too easy for me to just walk past, you know, mile after mile of stuff at a Costco or a Target. because everything's kind of a little more spread out. With things being a little closer, a little more compact, I pay more attention. I'm paying more attention to what's on the shelves. And for those of you who are wondering, they have everything. There's absolutely nothing lacking. Thailand is a first class, they are an international A+ country. Bangkok is an international A+ city. They have everything here, everything. There's nothing you can want that they don't have here. And I'm not surprised. I knew this coming here. But being here and seeing it and seeing how smoothly things go, even the chaoticness of all of the traffic is smooth. There's definitely an order and a rhythm to it, you know. So I went to the Big C and did some shopping, got some fruit, got some instant coffee, because my apartment comes with this gigantic hot water maker. And as always, I avoid the tap water. Everything I drink comes out of a bottle. It's not that unusual for me though. I live in the Bay Area and I don't drink tap water unless it's been filtered. So it's either filtered or it comes out of a bottle. So I'm already used to that. It's not an adjustment for me. For some of you who come here who are from a place where you can drink your water right out of the tap because you've got amazing well water, or you know your city water is just so fantastic, which I have had. I've lived in places where that was the case. It may take you a minute to get used to always having to drink out of a bottle. I don't use bottled water for brushing my teeth or any of those other things, and you know, from what I can tell, the water in my building here is very, very clean. It's a very nice condo. Yeah, it's not just a single little building. This is a complex, and it's very nice. It's fully staffed. It's very secure. You have to have a card to get into the building. You have to have a card in order for the elevator to work. You cannot visit any floor. You can only go to the floor associated with your card. You need a key to get in. You need a key to get even further in. You can call the elevator, but you can't go down, you can't go up unless you have your card on you. So you even have to push a button to unlock the door to get out of the building. It's fantastic. I love it. It's exactly it's exactly as advertised. So today I need to find some breakfast type food. I noticed their eggs were not chilled at the big grocery store. They had a great selection of things, but the eggs were not chilled. I worked in restaurants and we would pull eggs out of the refrigerator, and we would have 2, 3, 4 flats of eggs sitting there, and we were using them. And by the time we got to the last flat, you know, they were totally at room temperature, or kitchen temperature, as it were. I lived on a farm, so I gathered fresh eggs. I'm used to eating fresh eggs. You know, that's a real thing. I'm totally comfortable with that. But seeing stacks and stacks of eggs out in the middle of the floor, and the buildings are conditioned, so it's not super hot or humid in there at all. As a matter of fact, the humidity was very low. I just that was a little different, seeing eggs out at room temperature in mass. So anyway, at some point this morning I'm going to have to go and round up some sort of breakfast food. I've had a little banana, and I'm having my little coffee, and I'm going to have some rice. I picked up some really nice oyster flavored soy sauce yesterday, and that was great. I didn't have any devices with me. I was afraid to use my phone to take video or photos because it was the only device I had that had a charge on it, and it had less than 50%. And yeah, I didn't want to run my battery down and lose my ability to navigate until I'd resolved that issue. You know, for all the thinking ahead I do, I didn't think ahead enough sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off. I'm going to import and chop up a bunch of video and get some stuff published. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I just want to tell you, I'm very thankful and grateful to be here in Thailand. See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya.